or as an adult, or she's even alive. That would not exactly be a claim to fame. I do know a little bit about Ed. His parents, 29-year-old Frank Edward Miney, police officer, and 26-year-old Pauline Dennis Miney, homemaker. He has an older brother, Frank, born 5 years earlier in 1921. Little Ed seemed to have a pretty normal childhood. There are whisperings from about his mother being possibly an alcoholic, mostly from his future son-in-law, Tony Spera. I'll mention him later on in the show. His dad, I guess was maybe not around a lot due to working long hours. But, no alarming examples of abuse and neglect. And maybe his mom drank a little bit extra because Ed wouldn't shut the fuck up about ghosts. She couldn't handle little Ed pounding on our door every night, talking about the demon, or in his room, or outside his window, just day after day. Demon this, monster that. He doesn't want to eat a sandwich because a ghost poisoned the bologna. He can't sleep alone in his bed because an old white-eyed demon lady sleeps underneath it. He can't play with his neighbor kids outside because the ghost of a little boy said he'd strangle Frank if he tried. He won't play with his sister Babe because Babe has been possessed by the previous owner of the home for years. And why won't anyone take him seriously? I have no idea what she drank. But I will say, if Kyler and Monroe just wouldn't shut up about demons and ghosts, I'd probably hit the sauce a little harder. Less than 5 months after Ed's birth, on January 31st, 1927, Lorraine Rita Moran is born, also in Bridgeport. She grew up just a few miles up the coast from Bridgeport and Milford. The eldest of 3 children, she grew up in a middle-class family. 4 years later, 1931, when Ed was 5, his family moved into a house that he thought was haunted. He would later reflect, "My father, who was a police officer at the time, would often say, 'Ed, there's a logical reason for everything that happens in this house.' And then my dad would just float up to the 3rd floor, and his eyes would turn white." No, I didn't. That part I didn't. But he just never came up with that logical reason. That's it. He said my family would all go to bed, and then just around 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning, many times I would hear the closet door beginning to open up. That sounds like little kid imagination. At first, I'd look into the closet and see only shapeless darkness. Then I'd start to see a light bulb. No, not light. Not a light bulb, sorry. I'd start to see a light beginning to form, and it would morph into like a ball-like shape, sort of like a basketball, and then I'd see a face in the ball. Now, this phenomenon he described is known in paranormal circles as a ghost globule. And what is a ghost globule? Well, it's defined as a globule of ghostiness. So, there you go. That'd be a super shitty definition.